We're glad to have you join us on NTA Nationwide on the network service. You're welcome. President Muhammadu Buhari has granted audience to the former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon. Sita's correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that messages of appreciation, goodwill, support and encouragement were delivered to the Nigerian leader during the visit. We'll bring you details in the course of the bulletin. The National Center for Disease Control has recorded over 500 cases of meningitis C, out of which over 300 victims have died across the country. Director General of the Center, Chikwe Hekwazu, who said this at a meeting with the Senate Committee on Primary Healthcare and Communicable Diseases, said Zamfara, KB, Sokoto, Katsina and Niger states are mostly affected. National Assembly correspondent Ifanye Zumba reports.
The meeting was to intimate the committee with the number of people affected and measures to checkmate the disease from spreading. The DG NCDC, who said the outbreak started second week of December 2016, stressed that about 16 states have so far reported the prevalence of the disease.
3 years ago, there was a broad, widespread vaccination campaign with a new vaccine at the time, the meningitis A vaccine. New conjugate vaccine, which more or less wiped out the strain of meningitis that used to cause the previous cycles of outbreaks. Now, what has happened is a new strain has emerged in Nigeria, meningitis C. It is not new in the world, but it's new in our context.
Committee Chairman Mao Ohuabunwa expressed the need for proper information of the disease and how it can be prevented.
Are you saying that with your present level of personnel, you have the capacity going forward to take care, and to mitigate what we're having now in case of tomorrow?
The committee insisted on weekly report of the spread and availability of the vaccines. From the National Assembly, Ifanye Zumba, NT News.
In the meantime, experts on Good Morning Nigeria program have identified vaccination and enlightenment as key to stemming the outbreak of meningitis, which has claimed over 300 lives between December and now. Gufan Shaji has that report.
Expensive nature of the meningitis vaccines, which makes it not to be commercially available, the experts say limits the doses to deal with the new strain of the deadly disease in Nigeria.
The good news is that those vaccines, the first batch has arrived. We have 500,000 doses. We're starting a big campaign in Zamfara State tomorrow. It was supposed to start on Friday, but the Honorable Minister insisted that we bring that forward. He is also making efforts to bring another 800,000 doses of vaccines in by Friday this week. So we have really mobilized efforts across the country to respond to this.
In tackling the scourge, the discussants say Nigerian health officials have also met with the International Review Group of the World Health Organization to request for additional vaccines, which has been approved.
The Ministry of Health is also focused on revitalizing the primary healthcare system. You will see a lot of work being done in the primary healthcare system in Nigeria, both at the federal level and also most states in the country, and especially in Niger State. We are all now focused on trying to ensure that each ward, every ward in the state, has one functional primary healthcare center that provides the right services to the people within the communities.
Time is ripe so that we take on destiny in our own hands. Those vaccines should be produced in Nigeria so that we can begin to vaccinate our population right from September when the meningitis season begins, and we exterminate the type C once and for all and any other strain that comes up.
In FCT, we try to see how we can build about 12 primary healthcare centers. In FCT already the process of procurement has been done. The same minister has ordered now for the reactivation of Preparedness and Response Committee.
The guest also stressed the need for state governments to be proactive in addressing the scourge and embark on sensitization of the public on proper ventilation and overcrowding in Abuja. Gufan Shaji, NTA News.
An accurate and reliable data to measure implementation of sustainable development goals is identified as pivotal in its achievement. This was contained in a message to the Statistician General of the Federation, Yemi Kale, at the workshop on sustainable development goals in Abuja. Musa Abubakar has details.
Poor data collection and validation to measure the progress of the implementation of Millennium Development Goals is identified to be one of the major problems against its achievement. With the Sustainable Development Goals in progress, the National Bureau of Statistics, in collaboration with stakeholders, seek to authenticate information gathered with a view to monitor progress during and after the implementation of Sustainable Development Goals.
We're going to treat the indicators that are meant for social and national development, and there are 17 in nature. It is an expansion of what you may refer as the MDG goals. We are supposed to have a baseline data on where we are going. It's supposed to last from now to 2030. So in the journey towards 2030, we need to know where we are starting from. You need those who provided you data to say, yes, this is data we provided you, and we are happy with it. We now know where we are. We now know how we want to move from there towards making progress.
Contributors will come up with a document that will command national ownership and acceptance, as well as fast-track the implementation of SDGs.
The baseline study is expected to provide data for the assessment of Sustainable Development Goals, which is imperative in assessing the progress of the program. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
This is coming from the House of Representatives, which has passed for second reading a bill for an act to establish the forensic DNA database in Nigeria, which seeks, among other issues, to create a DNA profile for addressing doubt in criminal cases. Ignatius Nko has more on this bill.
Well, members dwelt on the need to improve Nigeria's criminal justice system, especially in the area of extracting evidence. And they unanimously agree that the establishment of a DNA database in Nigeria is key to beating the sophistication of modern criminals. Representative Patrick Asado is the sponsor of that bill. What actually do you think that bill seeks to achieve?
Basically, we, like members agreed, want to take Nigeria away from the archaic, if you care, barbaric way of extracting confessions and forcing non-criminals and freeing criminals, sometimes as part of our investigative processes. So what that bill seeks to do is, in a scientific, organized manner, to be able to determine those who were present in a time of crime scene. DNA database is absolutely important at this stage.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Well, as it is now, the bill has now been referred to the committee stage, where the members will now bring stakeholders, in fact, relevant persons who will now make an input into the bill.
Ensuring a systematic succession plan, providing adequate training and improving welfare of National Assembly management staff are critical to the effectiveness of the lawmaking body. The clerk of the National Assembly, Muhammad Sani Omolori, said this at the opening retreat for National Assembly management staff in Kaduna. Dennis Adegoleyo reports.
The clerk of the National Assembly pledged that consistent efforts would be made to realizing these key areas, which would go some way to achieving the vision of a highly specialized and vibrant management team of the National Assembly. He said reinvigorating the concept of change is central to meeting the yearnings of Nigerians, adding that through effective legislations, democratic governance will be enhanced.
We are pledging to continue to be the good managers that we be, improve and enhance all the provisions that you need to be able to do the work well, and to ensure that staffs get what they deserve and they're well remunerated. And in addition, we're asking the staffs to dedicate themselves and put in the best of service as much as possible.
Improved media and public relations, he emphasized, is also a priority area. Over the next week, participants will be engaged in a variety of activities with resource persons on hand to deliver papers on important areas designed to enhance their capacity and efficiency. In Kaduna, Dennis Adinloye, NTA News.
A review of the Abuja master plan has been described as inevitable in order to accommodate modern-day realities. This is the consensus of experts at a one-day workshop in Abuja organized by the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, FCT chapter. Mita Rekben tells us more.
These experts say the Abuja master plan over the years is not being implemented according to plan due to distortions occasioned by population explosion, undue political interference, deviation from land use, and lack of finance for development. The consequences include the loss of the much-needed green areas as well as the proliferation of shanties. As they set the agenda for the review of the Abuja Master Plan, they speak on the way forward.
There's a need to include those we are planning for in this master plan. So engaging the people, talking to them, asking them what they want, not what we want for them, will be very important in setting a new agenda for the master plan.
The political will has to be there. Sometimes some of the ministers that are brought in have a different agenda, a different view, so they can slow down the progress.
Master plan document is something that is dynamic, subject to review in view of the fact that it's a document that is limited to technology, funding, and political support.
The master plan envisaged about 3.5 million. Now it's over 6 million. But that's why you do review. It is very difficult for you to put a policy that will stop people coming. But you can do policies that you can ensure that who come are accommodated in appropriate manner.
The recommendations of this workshop are to be passed to the FCT administration for action. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Israel ambassador visits Governor Ambode. This and more from our Lagos Network Center with Jennifer as our guide. Hello, Jennifer. It's over to you.
Good evening. Welcome to Lagos. The Israeli ambassador to Nigeria, Guy Friedman, has restated the need to strengthen diplomatic relations with Nigeria. He stated this when he led a delegation to Lagos State Government House. Correspondent Victoria Olabode completes the story.
This is the first time the ambassador of State of Israel to Nigeria, Mr. Guy Friedman, will be visiting Lagos since he assumed office at the Embassy of Israel that has since been moved from Lagos to Abuja. Mr. Guy Friedman and his entourage expressed pleasure on the visit based on the cordial relationship that existed between both countries.
Because looking at Nigeria now, it's not only the Lion of Africa, it's in a few ways will be even more than that. And Africa is going, whatever other people might think, is going on a path for huge success globally. And looking at Nigeria, I'm sitting at the center of its beating heart.
The Lagos State Governor, Akinwumi Ambode, said Nigeria and Israel have come a long way. He said the visit was timely as Nigeria will tap into the agricultural expertise of Israel in this time that is needed most to diversify the nation's economy.
Obviously, when a city that is growing and is counting, we believe strongly that this visit is more instructive for us. We would like to take advantage of the technology advancement that we see across the world.
The governor also said that Nigeria can learn from the advanced technology of Israel and explore great opportunities that will take Nigeria to the next level of development. In Lagos, Victoria Olabode, NTA News.
That's the story at this hour from Lagos. Back to Ogechi in Abuja for more on the news.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. 16 days into the registration of UTME of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, thousands of prospective candidates across the country are expressing frustration over the cumbersome and slow pace of the registration process. Already there are calls for an extension of the registration exercise due to hitches being experienced. Discussing these challenges on Good Morning Nigeria, the JAMB registrar, Professor Ishaq Oloide, called attention to the fact that JAMB is doing everything it can to ensure that the process is completed before the due date.
By next week, you will see what will have happened. But we are saying that we stand by our plan. Let us make things work. Solving most of the problems that will rear their heads. Students getting their biometric being misplaced and so on.
Still staying with JAMB, the registrar, Professor Ishaq Oloide, has reiterated the board's commitment to continue to maintain quality and standard academic policies for candidates seeking admission into the nation's higher institutions. Registrar said this during a one-day assessment visit to computer-based test centers across Abuja, the Ogun State capital. Hakim Jimo was on the entourage of the registrar and now reports.
The visit, according to the registrar, Professor Oloyede, was to assess the level of readiness on the path of accredited computer-based test centers and to confirm whether the allegations against them over the non-registration of qualified candidates were true. Briefing newsmen shortly after the assessment, Professor Oloyede lamented the underutilization of facilities in public institutions, accredited registration centers across the state.
We would not go back to that system. Let us make this system work. In Abeokuta here, we have at least 20 centers, and each of them has capacity for 100. So what are we talking about? So if people are not utilizing that, we are appealing to them to utilize.
He noted that the board would continue to curtail the activities of criminally minded people who utilize the opportunities of the exercise to defraud innocent candidates and their parents. Professor Oloyede urged registration officers to alert the board of whatever challenges they faced during the course of the registration of candidates, promising timely resolve of such challenges.
We are 40% already, so all we need is to go around, tell people to open more avenue for students to register, and tell the students to resist being extorted.
He assured that there was no going back in the conduct of the forthcoming mock examination, which, according to him, would prove to the general public the readiness of JAMB to conduct each free UTME exercise. In Abeokuta, Hakim Jimo, NTA News.
2017 Chief of Army Staff Conference opens in Maiduguri. It's time to join Naomi for these and more stories from that center. Hello, Naomi. Take it over.
Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Burate has made remarkable progress in terms of improving standards of training, discipline, attitudinal change, and drive for excellence in civil-military relations. The Army boss stated this at the 2017 Chief of Army Staff First Quarter Conference. Maimuna Garba reports that the conference took place at the newly inaugurated Command Guest House in Maiduguri.
Army Staff Conference provides an avenue to take stock of activities within the first quarter of the year, discuss general administration of troops, and review various peacekeeping operations across the country in order to project strategies for the next quarter. He restated his resolve to bequeath a legacy which ensures the Nigerian Army remains amongst the best globally and capable of confronting evolving security challenges.
This year's first quarter conference is unique as it precedes the consolidation of the defeat of the Boko Haram terrorists, which the Nigerian Army, successful conduct of the Nigerian Army Small Arms Championship at the Sambisa Forest, as well as providing a stable atmosphere for socio-economic activities in the state of Borno.
Governor Kashim Shettima, who was represented by his deputy Usman Maman Durkwa, assured that Borno state government will continue to support the Nigerian armed forces to achieve its desired objectives. UNICEF country representative Mohammed Malik Fall appreciated the Nigerian Army for the counter-insurgency operation and other peacekeeping missions, which he believed will restore stability in the sub-region. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
With the relative peace being enjoyed in Maiduguri, the National Youth Service Corps will soon resume orientation of Youth Corps members in Borno State. Director General of the NYNC, Brigadier General Suleiman Zakari Kazore, stated this while addressing Youth Corps members in Maiduguri. Lami Ali reports.
Since 2011, orientation for Youth Corps members posted to Borno State was conducted in other states of the Federation to ensure their safety due to Boko Haram insurgency, which was a threat to their well-being. Brigadier General Suleiman Kazori said, with the relative peace experienced across Borno, the NYSC has decided to commence orientation at its camp in Maiduguri as soon as internally displaced persons now occupying the premises are relocated.
I'm sure if they increase the civil servants' salary, definitely they'll increase the corps members' allowance.
He urged co-members serving in the state to remain patriotic and embark on projects that would positively impact communities. The Director General commended the efforts of both the federal and state governments in tackling the Boko Haram menace, thereby restoring normalcy in affected areas. Borno State Coordinator of the NYSC, Salman Mukhtar, and some co-members who spoke during the visit were appreciative of the visit, which was the first in 2 years from the national headquarters, describing it as encouraging in Maiduguri. Lami Ali, NTA News.
Prospective candidates for 2017-2018 JAM UTME in Borno State have decried the slow pace of registration, which they attributed to the newly introduced procedure. NTA News went round some registration centers in Maiduguri metropolis and filed in this report.
In the past, a period of 3 months is given to candidates by JAM to register for the UTME, but has now been reduced to 1 month. Prospective candidates in Maiduguri, while sharing their experiences, said the newly introduced process is cumbersome.
For 4 days now, if I come here, they will say I should go back, that too much, they have closed for the day, and I have to spend much money. And now I don't have money for my registration again.
And I was here since last night. I left here by 9, and I'm living inside town. I ate around 10 yesterday.
As the closing date scheduled for 19 April for the registration is fast approaching, intending applicants and staff at some of the centers are already expressing frustration by the long wait due to poor internet service.
The network is very bad. If now you are trying to do one person now, you spend like 20 to 30 minutes.
Each candidate, you have to spend like 30 minutes with him. So the network is bad, really.
Authorities from the JAM office Maiduguri, who declined to speak on camera, said a good number of intending applicants have been registered successfully.
From Maiduguri, back to Abuja for more reports on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Well, now I'm there from our Maiduguri Network Center. You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. This is NTA Nationwide on the network service. Let's pause for some messages to return shortly. Stay with us.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
Readiness to contain emergency situations in Nigeria and addressing eventualities. This is the focus this week on Tuesday Live, as analysts x-ray best practices to emergency response. NTA Tuesday Live, incisive, educative, and informative. Don't miss it.
It wasn't like this before.
Before, we didn't have much like that.
Our classrooms were very shabby.
We did not have enough teachers.
No seats.
We did not have any building. We don't have good uniforms.
Immediately Owele came to power, everything changed automatically. Our school is sparkling. They have seats, enough seats per individual, new structures.
Free education, free desks. We have new buildings and new school uniforms.
This is the new Imo State, where education is free. The Imo Rescue Mission. Imo must be better.
People lose their jobs every day. For this,
my friend, where's my change?
And this.
Where is the feather you say you buy?
And this.
As I told you now, middle of express now they so.
They lose precious opportunities in life simply because they go after small extra stipends.
You know, say now where person they work, then they chop.
Oh yes, but chop only what is rightfully yours. Or don't you agree?
The line on my line, I like. Commander of the Lion Forces.
Join us for Walk Chop, another hilarious episode of your rib-cracking comedy, Professor John Bull. Showing at 8:30 p.m. every Tuesday and Friday on NTA Network International and Star Times.
Shama! Shosa! 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 Shosa!
Over and out. Brought to you by Glow.
Welcome to the new speed of life.
Ngozi and Ebiri have some things in common. They are young, smart, beautiful, and both have a common desire to see Adams suffer for his crimes against them and many others. Wale and Enuga Productions presents a tale with the ultimate twist from this life family drama entitled A Change of Heart, starring Livinus Inochiri, Kate Adegbegba, Dejumo Lewis, Henrietta Soko, Yemi Sholade, Rose Odika, Kunle Kauka, Yeni Ejide, Toyi Aimaku Johnson, Wale Adebayo. Change of heart. Sometimes to forgive is not your decision to make.
Being a mother is a lot of work. Being a caring mother is a daily task. To have a healthy mother and child, you need all the help you can get. Whatever your health concern is, a mother or child, join us on Mother Care on this station at this time. Because we always say, being a mom, it's the best job in the world.
At NIPS School.
Yes, so no be only government go stop Lassa fever. Now everybody go put hands together to stop Lassa fever. We don't the years once more to say Lassa fever don't use style resurface for some part of this country them. But the Federal Ministry of Health say make you no panic. Now so they clean our house all the time. We chase rats come out, and if rats don't mood for our house, Lassa fever don't come out be that. Lassa fever get two symptoms. One are early stage where they bring fever, sore throat, vomiting, diarrhea, joint pain. The second stage in our bunge, now they cause bleeding from the nose, eyes, spectrum. It go even the main blood to the commode from private part, even cause swelling genital. Make we stop to the shop rat. Anywhere we rat fit enter our house, make we block her. Don't forget say division of the universal health coverage. That to see say everybody they can't pay. Our God president one may worry, want everybody make we stand in the bar. Yama no good for us, so it invite her. Sweat where they come up from person where get Lassa fever. Fit transfer the disease from one person to another. If you suspect any fever, where you don't treat it with better medicine and you no go quick, or you suspect any person where get Lassa fever, make you run go any health facilities where they near you. Lassa fever must go. How of now go give them red card. Now Federal Ministry of Health bring on this message.
We're glad to know you're still watching NTA Nationwide. Governor Obaseki of Edo State inaugurates dialysis center. There's more as we join Agatha in our Benin Network Center. Hello, Agatha. It's over to you.
Thank you, Ogechi. Good evening and many thanks for joining us in Benin. Governor Godwin Obaseki says the Edo State government will support any organization with lofty ideas in the area of health. He stated this while inaugurating the St. Vincent de Paul Mercy Dialysis Center in Benin City. Goodluck Inaini reports.
Governor Obaseki said his administration will do necessary things to bring health care delivery to the doorsteps of the people. The governor commended the members of St. Vincent de Paul for the initiative, stressing that it will go a long way in rendering assistance to the people.
What you are doing today is government's responsibility. When governments fail and people like you step in, I think the least government can do is to support and encourage you. That is the underlying reason why I feel as government that we will continue to support you.
The Archbishop of the Metropolitan See of Benin City, Most Reverend Augustine Akubeze, and the President Society of St. Vincent de Paul, Mrs. Mary Onoja, in their separate remarks, said the center is meant to provide assistance to the less privileged.
He listened to them before he became governor, and he's listening to them after they have become governor.
In the grace of God, the poor shall live, the poor shall no longer die chiefly as a result of kidney-related issues.
The multi-million naira gigantic edifice, fully equipped to provide help to the helpless, began in 2013. In Benin, I am Goodluck Enaini, NTA News.
In the meantime, healthcare delivery is engaging the attention of experts to reposition the sector in Edo State. This was at a two-day workshop declared open by the Edo State Deputy Governor, Comrade Philip Shaibu. Elizabeth Wotoma reports that the theme of the workshop is Remodeling the Healthcare Delivery System in Edo State, New Vision, New Horizon.
Two-day workshop at the instance of the Edo State government focused on issues militating against the health sector, such as lack of equipment, staffing, training and retraining of staff.
What's most important is strategy that we need to adopt in taking healthcare to the grassroots.
Minister of State for Health and Chairman on the occasion, Dr. Sagi Ehanire, said Edo State will set the pace for others to follow if only it utilizes the economic avenue in the health sector.
The Edo State Health Insurance Scheme to cover all citizens of our great state. Key among the many benefits of the state health insurance scheme is the rapid expansion of the fiscal space for health in Edo.
Some of the participants said the theme of the workshop is arts.
The plan is very novel. This is a very scientific approach to governance.
Towards remodeling the healthcare delivery system in Edo State using Omomi, a mobile application, it is expected that Edo State will be in the front line in medical tourism in no distant time. From Benin, Elizabeth Owotoma, NTA News.
And to security matters now, Operation Thunderstorm in Edo has destroyed over 660,000 liters of illegally siphoned petroleum products. This was at the illegal crude oil refinery in Umuode local government area of Edo State. Correspondent Muhammad Abdul Kadri reports that the commander, Nigerian Army 4 Brigade Benin, Brigadier General Ibrahim Garba, led the operation.
Thunderstorm stormed the hideout of the illegal refinery in quick response to a tip-off. The task force mobilized in full force under the command and control of Brigadier General Ibrahim Garba. The operation uncovered chains of operational illegality by the oil bunkers. From lines of supply of the crude oil through busted NMPC pipeline and channeled to the storage tanks for distilling and processing into a refined product showed an organized crime by a gang of economic saboteurs. What about here? 2 arrests were made while lorry for the distribution of refined product was impounded alongside some items. Observers say there is need for surveillance using modern technology to unravel criminal activities along NMPC right-of-way and a sensor to electronically detect busted NMPC pipeline. Charging through the difficult terrains up to the Ground Zero where illegal crude oil refinery industry is situated is not a child play. It put to test our strength and stamina as well as endurance capacity to be able to accomplish this task. In Edo State, Muhammad Abdul Kadri, NTA News.
And that's our package from Benin. News Nationwide continues in Abuja. Good evening.
Well, thank you, Agatha. Towards enhancing training needs of Nigeria police in capacity development and mobility, the German government has donated operational vehicles to the agency. Presenting the vehicles to the Inspector General, Police Ibrahim Idris, the German ambassador to Nigeria, Bernhard Schlagek, said the two countries had enjoyed impressive bilateral relations. While the Inspector General of Police appreciated the commitment of Germany to the international peacekeeping and Nigeria's fight against insurgency.
Particular capacity building, empowerment,
But at training, we are very happy that the Nigerian police force is willing to accept our assistance.
And they are doing a wonderful job trying to sort of support the police force in ensuring that we provide the best training atmosphere for our officers in the training institutions. And obviously we need support from our foreign partners, friends, and from other agencies of government in Nigeria.
The Police Officers' Wives Association has restated its determination to synergize with the FCT command towards improving the welfare of officers and their families. This was disclosed by the chairperson, POA FCT chapter, Margaret Kimop, during her courtesy visit to the FCT command. Deborah Micah reports.
This is to formally present to the public the current chairperson of POA FCT chapter, Mrs. Margaret Kimo, since their posting to the FCT Police Command. Disclosing area of collaborations, Mrs. Margaret Kimo reaffirmed the association's commitment to assist the Police Command, especially in the welfare of officers and their families.
We took it upon ourselves to come and say, yes, we are around to show ourselves officially. And to congratulate him and to ask for his support. What we do is we give succor to plight of police officers in the barracks, mostly those that have lost their lives in the course of duty.
The association made a special presentation to the Commissioner of Police, Musa Kimo.
Gift from the heart with love from all of us.
Your families, that's your parents, and courtesy of your dear husband. Because we are working hard to ensure that apart from putting food on the table, our wives are the best anywhere.
The association, however, appeals for deployment of men of the Nigerian police to flash points in the FCT, stressing the importance of community policing in the Federal Capital Territory. In Abuja, Deborah Micah, NTA News.
Comptroller General of Nigeria Immigration Service, Mohammed Babandide, says river officers will be prosecuted and dismissed from the service if found guilty for inflating prices of passport booklets from 18 to 50,000 naira. It was a workshop for TAP officers. Mujanade Adam Sahid reports.
This meeting is to discuss and exchange ideas on Immigration Act 2015 and the Immigration Regulation 2017. The essence is to facilitate smooth implementation of the Regulation Act 2017 in line with global best practices. The Comptroller General Mohammed Babandide believes that a lot of changes in terms of documentation will improve with the knowledge of the law by the officers.
We are going to produce a manual. With the act and the regulation, we need to give a book to immigration officer which he will read to guide him how he will implement the law. Already a committee to produce the manual has been set. We'll have operational guidelines for almost everything we do. It will be documented so that we follow the rule of law.
The training is aimed at updating the service of 36 Comptroller Generals, Zonal Coordinators and other senior officers.
We have been charged to go down to our zones and train the other officers.
The Comptroller spoke on the issue of passports.
We have done a lot of arrests of officers who have inflated price, decided to charge public 50,000 instead of 18,000. We have arrested officers and they will be prosecuted.
The action, he said, is to serve as deterrent to other officers. In Abuja, Marijana to Adam Said, NTA News.
President of the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, has applauded the Jigawa State Pension Scheme and urged the public, especially pensioners, to cooperate with the government and the vanguard for a new Nigeria. Habib Hussein has a report.
The president was in Jigawa State to familiarize himself and thank the state government for the support accorded its members at all levels. He appreciated the effort of government on prompt payment of salaries, pension and gratuities.
The Jigawa State Pension Scheme is the best. And I think federal government and other states, when enacting the pension law, should actually find time to come to Jigawa. This is the secret of addressing the issue of social stability, addressing the issue of inequality. This is the secret.
Comrade Wabba, however, commended the state agricultural policy, which he said, if adopted in all quarters, Nigeria will realize its economic dream through agriculture. Governor Muhammad Badr Abubakar appreciated the cordial working relationship between his administration and the NLC, assuring determination to improve the welfare of civil servants.
Prudent management always pay, but he refused to forget to add that the calculator started working in the government house. We do not reduce the cost of administration, but start with the cost of running the government in the government house.
The governor further said policies and programs were designed to empower workers and create jobs for teeming youth and women across the state. From Dulce, Habib Hussein, NTA News.
Well, let's now join Jos, where the Plateau State House of Assembly is set to repeal the Absolute Penal Code. For details, let's join Shehu in that center. Hello.
Hello, Ogechi, and welcome to Jos. The Plateau State House of Assembly now has a new Deputy Speaker, Saleh Yipmong. This followed the passage of a vote of no confidence this afternoon on the former Deputy Speaker, Yusuf Gagdi, which was endorsed by 18 out of the 24 legislators. Assembly correspondent Nit Dimka has the details.
Following the nomination of Saleh Yipmong and a voice vote that confirmed his selection as the new Deputy Speaker, he immediately took his oath of office. Speaking to journalists at the end of plenary, the House Majority Leader Henry Yunkwap said the issues that led to the impeachment are quite many, but failed to mention them, describing the outcome as the voice of the majority.
In a parliament is what majority decides. That if there are so many things, we don't want to open up anything. But if the members say they have lost confidence, it encompasses so many things.
Both the former and new deputy speakers have described the decision of the House as the will of God, expressing optimism in the years ahead, as they are both of the All Progressives Congress.
If you look at the historical antecedent of Plateau State House of Assembly, Monsad Guar was removed, and he went to House of Representatives. Jombul was removed. Today he is in House of Representatives. I don't know whether my removal is an answered prayer that tomorrow I'll go to
It's coming as a surprise because, no, not truly a surprise because I am a member of the Assembly. And by virtue of my standing, nobody is being elected as a principal officer. Only when you come to the Assembly, there are certainly situations like this. And that is where we are today. In the morning, about 18 members feel that there should be a change in a certain position of the House. That is what led to what has transpired.
This is the first impeachment on the floor of the House since the 8th Assembly resumed legislative duties in 2015. In Jos, Nit Dimka, NTA News.
In the meantime, the bill for a law to enact the Plateau State Penal Code has the over 500-paged bill received extensive before it was committed to House Committees on Finance, Justice and Security for public hearing.
Leading discussions on the bill, Majority Leader and member representing Shandam constituency Henry Yunkwap described the bill as long overdue, saying that the old penal code was adopted since 1963 from the colonial era and fines for offences are in shillings. He said the new bill, when passed into law, will among other things minimize the frustrations of the citizenry in seeking redress and also curb the execution of jungle justice practiced in some parts of the state.
This bill also, if passed into law, will minimize citizens' frustration and strengthen our judiciary with a standard framework for fair and prosecution of all criminals according to the degree of crimes committed.
While committing the bill to the House Standing Committees, the Speaker, Peter Azi, charged them to conduct public hearings and invite stakeholders from the public, civil societies, and the traditional institutions, among others.
Judiciary, Committee on Finance, and Committee on Security. And it is the doctrine of this Assembly that law bill is not passed without the contribution of the whole. These are men on public hearing.
The activities are expected to report back to the House on the 17th of May 2017. In Jos, Nate Dimka, NTA News.
And away from legislative matters, the human ear is one of the 5 sense organs responsible for the sense of hearing. Losing the sense of hearing could throw an individual off balance, like it did to a 100-level student of the Federal University of Agriculture, Makurdi. Jumai Stephen tells us more about Blessing Yova's success story.
The ear is made up of 3 parts, the outer, middle, and inner. The cochlea, which is nail-like shaped, is located in the inner ear and, through sound analyzing cells, translates sound into nerve impulses related to the brain. 22-year-old Blessing Yova lost her sense of hearing 6 months ago after suffering a fever. She underwent a cochlear implant on the 17th of February 2017, and it was successfully carried out by a team of ear surgeons from Jute and the United States. On the 30th of March 2017, Blessing was given another chance at hearing with the activation of the implant via teleconference with Jute's foreign partners.
No, it says due to low bandwidth. Oh wait, it's loading.
This is Blessing's reaction now that she has regained her sense of hearing.
Thanks to Almighty God. For now, I can just hear sound, but with time, I think it will come down to normal.
One thing with the brain is when it's been deprived of sound for some time, upon hearing sounds, it takes it a little bit while to understand properly. And within the next few weeks, to even get better through the use of this cochlear implant surgery.
For us as a hospital, this is a landmark achievement for us. And for the surgeons, it is the culmination of a very successful surgery, as it were.
With this successful cochlear implant, the Jos University Teaching Hospital has the expertise to carry out more of such surgeries. In Jos, Jumai Stephen, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Jos. It's back to Ogechi in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Well, thank you, George. Thank you. Shehu has apologized for some slight hiccups in the course of the transmission. The federal government has been urged to put urgent machinery in place to recover over $21 billion in remitted funds to pursue the country's economic recovery plan. Executive Secretary Nigeria Executive Industries Initiative, NAITI, Waziri Adio made the plea in Abuja. Olainka Ojo reports.
In a policy brief which focused on unremitted funds, economic recovery and oil sector reform, NAITI noted that the recovery of the huge unremitted funds is more than enough to jumpstart the economy. Findings from series of audits of the oil and gas sector carried out by NAITI showed that NNPC and its subsidiaries, the Nigerian Petroleum Development Company, have failed to remit over $21 billion and over 316 billion naira to the Federation accounts. While urging the federal government to go beyond the recovery of these funds, Mr. Waziri advocates revaluation of the asset divested to NPDC to determine the actual market prices with a view to recovering the full value of the assets and securing optimal benefits for them.
The OMLs that have not been paid for or have not been fully paid for should be retrieved from NPDC and should be revalued and should be auctioned so that the country can get proper value for those OMLs. We also believe that the status of an operation of NPDC should be reviewed.
Appealing that the federal government should fast-track comprehensive reform of improving petroleum sector, Mr. Adio pointed out that the federal government should investigate the status and use of Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas Company, NLNG dividend from 2000 to 2014. In Abuja, Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Jeffrey Onyama says with 60,000 Nigerian refugees in Cameroon alone, Nigeria faces a huge humanitarian challenge that calls for urgent attention. The minister said this when he received letters of credence from the new United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, Antonio Jose Canhadula, in Abuja.
You're going to have to hit the ground running because we have a number of refugee challenges. Of course, you're aware of the first of all, the security challenges we face in the northeast of our country that has now led to what your organization, the UN, has called one of the 4 impending disaster areas for famine.
The moment I was appointed to Nigeria, I said to myself, I never thought I would have luck to Nigeria. Nigeria, Excellency, has accompanied my life since I left Mozambique.
It will be recalled that recently the United Nations sent a delegation to the northeast to assess the humanitarian situation there. Talking sports now, Queen Baton relay rounds of its tour of Lagos today with some interesting events as the Nigerian National League goes shopping for sponsors. These and more in our sports update with Henry Ofim as our guide. Well, we don't seem to have that report. Before we go, there's a quick reminder that you can watch all our stories and much more when you log on to our website www.nta.ng. Well, our sports report is now ready. Queen's Baton Relay rounds off its tour of Lagos today with some interesting events as the Nigerian National League goes shopping for sponsors. These are more in our sports update with Henry Ofim as our guide. Says the people of Southern Borno have urged the Senate to reconsider the suspension of Senator Muhammad Ali Ndume with a view to reinstating him. It was during a peaceful protest at the National Assembly by a group under the auspices of the Southern Borno Global Initiative. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim reports that the group was received by the representatives of the Senate.
It is not unusual to see this kind of crowd besieging the entrance of the National Assembly in protest for or against one thing or the other. This time it is the Southern Borno Global Initiative who have come to demand for reinstatement of Senator Ali Ndume, who was recently suspended by the Senate.
Appealing to the Senate to reconsider the disciplinary action against Senator Muhammad Ali Ndume, the group described the 6-month suspension as adding more pains to the people of Southern Borno who already have been traumatized by the activities of Boko Haram in the area. They said for the people of the area who are already taking refuge in various IDP camps across the country to stay for 6 months without a representative in the Senate may disrupt the democratic process gathering momentum in the country, as well as the Northeast Development Project.
The National Assembly cannot suspend our leader without any justification.
You want your representative back to the Senate. Is that what you want? Is that what you want? Then we are not taking back that message that the people of Southern Senatorial Zone of Borno State want their senator back.
The senators who received the people urged them to be calm and wait for the outcome of the decision of the Senate on the matter. From the National Assembly, Kenneth Nanim,